We are literally standing before a great deal of money, millions of money in ounces and grams. And I say money because it's not currency, it's real money. And I think we've tried to make this clear for many, many years, the differences between fiat money and real money, hard assets. And to tell a story, to make that sink in, is no longer theoretical or mathematical, it's a lived experience. As an example, this 400-ounce bar of pure physical gold, before we went off the gold standard in 1971, roughly around the time I was born, my grandmother, thinking of the future, having come from Europe and seeing things change, my grandparents were thinking of leaving something for their grandkids. A 400-ounce bar cost them about $14,000, $15,000 at the time of my birth. I'm much more grateful for them for giving me this than a check for $14,000 or $15,000. Because fast forward to today, this bar is worth over $1.4 million. Why? Its properties didn't change, its shine didn't get any brighter, it just held its value while the paper US dollar, the world reserve currency, the best horse in the glue factory, consistently lost over 99% of its absolute purchasing power when measured against this barbaric pet rock, this barbaric ass of the past, which it clearly is not. In fact, even in current times, for many reasons, this is still real money, and this will be real money for generations to come. I'm a living example of that. Egon, you have a great story. Of all things, a restaurant owner in Switzerland. Explain how gold was just as important to that individual as it is to our clients.
I need to go back a little bit. I was always clear in the 80s, 90s that we are at the end of a monetary era. And I was always clear that we needed to protect our assets by holding an amount of gold and silver that was right for our level. So around the end of the century, I decided to set up a system where you could buy and store metals outside the banking system. And we did that for ourselves and for some investors that we advised at the time. And we bought a lot of gold at the time, not silver then, a lot of gold at $300. That was in 2002. I felt so strongly about it, so at one of my daughter's weddings, I stood in a very long Father of the Bride speech to tell everyone that you have to buy gold. This is at $300 an ounce. I think that probably nobody bought gold, Matt, which is typical because nobody buys gold today either. It's gone from $300 to over $4,000 on the way to much higher levels. And people are still not buying gold, but they will. They will. So only the people who understand what happens to paper money own gold today. Very few others. So as Matt started talking about, so I went to a restaurant in the canton of Ticino, which is the Italian part of Switzerland, just outside Lugano. And we sit there, four of us, my wife and some friends. And then all of a sudden, the owner comes up to me and said, I know you. You're the gold man. I read everything you write and listen to everything you say because I will tell you why, he said. I was born and lived in Yugoslavia. And I experienced with my family and friends the hyperinflation that took place there in the 1990s. And most of my friends and most of our relatives lost all of the money. But we had, fortunately, he said, we had bought gold because we understood that there was a major risk that our money would become worthless. So because of this gold, I managed to get out of Yugoslavia into Switzerland and buy this restaurant here. So that was a lifesaver for us. So people who had that experience of hyperinflation, they know how important it is to protect their assets. The dripping inflation we're seeing now is just 10% every year or 15% every year. And most people never see it because they think that prices are going up, but prices are not going up at all. It's the value of the money that's going down every day. And nobody realizes that until it hits them badly, like in Yugoslavia, when you get the hyperinflation, then they see it clearly. And this is why, as I said, people who understand what happens to paper money, and we think we're in the era now when we are seeing the end of this monetary period in history, where it'll be absolutely essential for everyone to hold some gold. And if you can't afford gold, you have silver. There are silver coins, as I've talked about before. They cost $50 today, 1 ounce. So please, hold some silver, hold some gold. and store it safely outside the banking system in vaults like this. Thank you very much.